Hey, good afternoon and welcome to Studio Kitchen Colorado, home of the Modern Eater Network. Having fun on a Monday. Forget about Sunday Fun Day. It's Sunday Fun Day Monday today. Justin, don't look at me like that. It's the GOAT Experiment, the Colorado Mills Sunflower Product GOAT Experiment. It's really actually a cool day, very enlightening, educational. We're going to have some fun, do a round robin around the table. Greg Hollenbach, Ross Kaminsky by my side, morning show host on KHOW. Welcome.
Hey, great to be back.
It's good to see you here. I brought you in blind into this little experiment. You really, truly had no idea what you were going to get out of this. Full value. Did you have a good time today?
Oh, it was amazing. I learned a lot, and it was fun and delicious, which is really the main thing, I think.
We're going to dig into this. So we have ranchers here with us today, Colorado ranchers. We have the feed for the ranchers. We also have the chef in the kitchen with us. So let's do this, right?
Let's do it.
All right, without further ado, Chef Justin Brunson back in the kitchen. Here you go, doing some butchery today, Justin.
Yeah, cooking up some beautiful goats. What a fun day, man. I've never done same animals, different feed tasting before, and it was very educational.
Yeah.
And flavorful, too.
Well, a lot of people may be saying as you're tuning in, well, who cares? I mean, I just want something that tastes delicious. But we did a side-by-side comparison. The feed that we had today, Doug Hewlin, welcome to the show, Colorado Mills Sunflower Products, and Rick Robbins. Hey, good to see you guys. Yeah. This was a fun experiment. Who wants to take the lead on this, on what we saw today? Rick?
Well, I think, what's exciting about the things that we try to find out is can we improve a cut of meat or what a chef can put on his table, and somehow can we get that back out to where that's value for the producer, not only the producer that's producing the goat or maybe somebody who's producing the sunflower seeds. Can we get the value in that quality of meat and get it to where it's steady? And why one of the reasons we like the goat thing is goat's pretty scarce in Colorado as far as eating goat, but as far as growing goat, it's not. There's several goat producers in Colorado.
So a lot to take in, more and more these days. We were talking about a lot of people are concerned you are what you eat, right? But what are the animals eating? I think that's a very interesting proposition because the taste and flavor profile. But what makes this viable for the end consumer? And, Chef, I'd love for you to jump into that. Is it just flavor? But a lot of things have to make sense to come to market.
Totally.
Value, price, what does it cost for the feed? You go down the line.
Right. As a chef, I'm looking for something that is flavorful. I always want what's best. And then if it can be local, even better. Like if I can support local farmers, local ranchers, put a local product on my plate, that's a win for everybody at this table, right? And I think we tasted that today with our taste test of same breed of lamb, same sex, right? Same breed, same sex, different feed programs. And it was very clear to, I think, everybody that tasted it that the pure sunflower diet was the most tender, had the highest quality meat. It seemed like the animal was a little bit bigger. It had the best fat on it. So it was very educational for me because I've never done this before. And I wasn't really sure what to expect coming into today, but like going out of today, I would definitely pick that 100% sunflower raised goat over even the mix and definitely the conventional. I like the mix though too because it did have a little bit more of a goaty flavor, and I kind of like that goaty flavor. But like, I almost look like the 100% sunflower would be like your fine dining goat. Like you have something like you would see on the plate at the French Laundry. Like if they were going to serve goat at the French Laundry, it would be a small family sourced feed. Perfect feed program, super clean taste to it, which was awesome. But I also love the sunflower corn wheat middles.
Performance feed.
Yeah, the performance feed as well, because it had a little bit more of that gamey flavor.
Yeah, we're going to do some side-by-side taste tests. In full disclosure, Ross, you did this beforehand. Yeah. How do you make sense of this, Ross? In the talk show host mind, you're always trying to determine, well, what are people thinking? What are the questions they would ask? What are you seeing right now with the questions that folks would want to ask?
Well, for me, so you asked one question, is there a nutritional difference between one feed and another? But, my background is business. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, and especially as I'm listening to the chef talking, I understand what you're saying about some people might like the mixed feed that's a little bit gamier, a little bit goatier. But I also think, like, if you're serving these in a restaurant, I think the one that was pure sunflower would be
more mainstream.
You would be safer. Like, everybody would like it.
Yeah, you want something that everybody enjoys. Really, when you're introducing somebody into a new meat, like, I don't know, like, I think half this room earlier had tasted goat before, the other half hadn't. So if I'm going to introduce somebody into a game meat or a different animal for the first time, I want to pick what's going to be the best on my palate, which is going to be the best, hopefully, on everybody's palate.
And I've traveled a lot of places and been a lot of places where they eat a lot of goat. But oftentimes those places the goats are in, the meat is in some kind of very heavy sauce, right? A Jamaican thing, an Indian thing, an African thing. Yeah. And I really hadn't thought about eating goat that was cooked with nothing but some salt on it and just like a fine piece of beef or lamb or something. And it was that good. Especially,
it held up.
It held up.
It really did hold up.
And the more traditional feed, unless you love the gamey flavor, it kind of needs that heavier sauce. This didn't.
No, 100%. I actually think that goat that's fed that 100% sunflower diet would make an awesome tartare.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it had such a beautiful, mild flavor to it. It could be a really cool, like, carpaccio or tartare dish, which I don't think I've ever seen on any menu before. So,
well, let's start doing some tastings for the folks. I think this is cool, Rick. While we're putting this delicious goat out right now, we talked about, we found out the flavor benefits. Mm-hmm. It's there. But what about from a nutritional standpoint? Is there a one-up by using Colorado Mills sunflower products?
Well, I think one of the things we're finding, and we've known for quite some time, but now we have a university looking at it too, is the oil that's in our sunflower meal is a high monounsaturated fat. And as we do that, what we find is that it will put marbling in the meat without adding excessive external fat to the animal. And what's that doing? And I think that was some of the tenderness things that we see here today, that we get a more tender meat because we're actually seeing it not only in animals that we eat, but horses that we are feeding this product to, they seem to have energy longer, and once again, that oil is going into the muscle first. As we've all said, we are what we eat. Maybe that's also good for us in us consuming monounsaturated fats over some of the others. So it's I'm just excited once again, and I've said this when we did our other one, is to have from the farmer, clear from the producer, clear to the chef, clear to your plate, and find out what is it.
Yeah, now, we know the story, guys. We're in the kitchen. We're doing the samplings. But the end consumer, does the story matter? First of all, where has this been? Why is this new to market? Is this something other folks, it's available to them, this feed? How do we work through that are we introducing something new?
Well, actually, we're probably introducing something old, if you really want to know about it. Present day, most of the oil seeds today are produced or oils are produced by taking the oil out by hexane solvent extraction in the process. We are only expeller pressed, which means we're just only using pressure to remove that oil. Well, it wasn't many years ago. That's how all oil was made. They didn't do solvent extraction. So now we're going back to probably an old school, but we're actually seeing the value. Because they always said, well, the meal, they left that oil in the meal. Our thought is, well, okay, so that has value somehow. Let's find what that value is, and I think we're finding that. And I think sometimes we forget what we've already learned. I'm a firm believer. I certainly know how the pyramids were built because nobody told anybody how they did it. Just one generation later. So, That's how we forget all of this stuff and have to relearn it.
Yeah.
So.
The Jagger family's here with us who
Yes.
actually raised
Yes.
the goats. This is,
Yes.
they're from McClave, is that?
McClave, yes.
McClave, Colorado. We actually had an opportunity on Road Trip 2019 with the Modern Eater Show to visit them, and we saw the goats, and I think Jay has some role that he's probably going to put on this stream. But we have different color codes that are here in front of us. Doug, jump in. Anytime you want to. I love to have your voice on the show here.
All right. What do you want me to say?
I know it. So, but generally, first of all, what's your capacity with Colorado Mills?
Oh, I mainly a producer. Our family's part owner.
You're so
been on
humble. You
board,
say
but-
mainly producer because you're out there. You're working hard every single day to supply sunflowers for Colorado Mills, but at the same time, you're also involved on the business end of that too, which I think you enjoy probably the farming.
Absolutely. We like to leave everything else to Rick.
Yeah.
He does a good job. He runs
Ross,
a pretty good ship.
He let me drive his combine once.
Oh, my
Which
God.
I got to tell you, it wasn't that hard, man. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. I think
Well,
you're
you-
looking
Depends how many beers you had.
I had one or two.
I think we got something worked out next year. You're going to make it for all harvest or something?
Oh, is that where the hard? Yeah, I think that's
I think
probably
we-
where the
yeah.
difficulty comes in, the longevity of that. So we have three different color plates here. This is where the experiment really comes into play. Ross, I thought it was fascinating. You dialed all three of them in. You took the flavor profile, and I think it'd be very cool to see what we can do. Brunson, I trust your palate, man. Let's do a blind one with Brunson. What do you think? Do you mind?
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, so give me your plates.
Okay.
You got to get those eyes closed. And the yellow is.
I could take that one. That's the blind tester.
Oh, this
Nobody
is the
knows
blind
what's on-
tester.
I don't know what's on
And
that.
you do, Chef? Okay, Chef knows what this is. We're going to hand this over to Brunson. Three different types. One of them is going to be the performance feed, which is a mixture. And if, Rick, could you explain what's in the mixture of the performance
The
feed?
performance goat feed is approximately 60% of our expeller press sun meal, and then we do have some corn, some wheat mids, which it comes from the bakeries after the bakeries use the wheat part they need for flour. That product we buy back from them, and then some vitamin trace mineral packages and things like that.
So when folks say conventional feed, what's in the conventional feed?
Conventional feeds are mostly, when you hear conventional feed, it's usually a soybean meal based for protein, and then you're going to see some corn or oats or barley or wheat in those types. And they're really high starch, which that's one of the things with our sun meal. There is zero starch in it. It's all fiber based, protein based source. So it's a non-grain. So.
And then Colorado Mills, that's just your feed.
That's just our feed. You will not probably find right now, as far as we know, we're the largest conventional sunflower expeller press plant in the United States.
Blows my mind. Right in our backyard, Colorado. There you go, Chef. You're on top of it. First of all, can you explain what you're looking for and what you're tasting? Is it texture, flavor, all of the above?
So, I mean, we did taste these earlier, and we all felt that the 100% sunflower diet was the most tender and the most mild as far as the goat flavor, right?
You cooked all of these exactly the same.
Chef Mike cooked them all the same, yeah.
So what'd you get from one?
So this one's more tender than this one,
Okay.
and has less of a goaty flavor.
I can't wait to see if this. I just can't wait to see. He's going to probably get
We're
it.
all cold now, too.
That makes a
now,
lot of difference,
yeah.
too.
But I think that's the sunflower. I just moved them. Is the one in the middle the sunflower one? No. See, it doesn't matter.
Which one'd you get?
Well, they're all cold now, so it's kind of hard. So they're all kind of chewy. But to me, this one had the less gaminess this time. And then this one, and then that one. So I had those two mixed up. Yeah.
Sunflower's going to be at the end.
This one?
Yeah, sunflower, and then you got soy, and then you got the performance.
Okay, so I was totally wrong.
Completely wrong.
Well, I
all
mean,
the way
they're
around.
ice cold, so it's like,
All right. Well, so I want to give this a shot here.
yeah. Yeah.
That's
You want to do blind?
Yeah, I think
Here.
so.
All right, here, let's do this.
and-
Here,
and
we're going to
so-
spin this. Close your eyes. Turn around. Turn around. All right. There we go.
Am
Is
I
he going to
set?
remember, though?
I know where they're at.
You know
now.
what's what? All right,
I know
so
where they're at.
you want him to do with his eyes open now?
Yeah, he can open his eyes.
Okay. He's got silverware.
Is this it? We're
That's
ready
it.
to go? Oh,
Yeah.
who needs silverware? Let's get it.
Yeah.
See, it's the protein's a lot different when it's cold.
Cold is no way to taste meat. You know.
You're really right.
Because they all tough, and they tighten up. The muscle tightens up.
Not on that one, though.
Yeah,
that one came through. The best flavor to me was the middle one.
So that would be the mix. You like the little bit more goaty flavored one.
The goatiest flavor was far left to me. No? How about this far right one? Mm-hmm. That's the
goatiest.
That's the
one.
goatiest flavored one.
I like how you were tasting them all within your mouth at the same time. I mean,
I don't know how often you've had people stare at you while you're eating, but you want to hustle through that as quick as possible while you're doing that. But
there's nothing more uncomfortable than eating while people are watching you.
First time around, when you had the taste and when the temperatures were correct, Ross, you dialed them in right away.
Yeah, we tasted them all. So earlier, we tasted them while they were still warm to hot, and then Greg gave me blind taste test, and I could identify them, and it was pretty easy. So that's also kind of interesting because you're the professional, and if you couldn't,
I can't tell the difference.
That means that the temperature change made an enormous difference in. Which is really neat. But to me, the difference.
I mean, the meat's going to seize up as it gets cold, right? It's going to seize up. And then eating something cold for something warm. When something's warm, it tastes more. And then, it's just like cheese. You eat a piece of cheese right out of the freezer or let your cheese plate sit out for an hour. It tastes so much better when it's sat out for an hour. Same thing with meat or any other protein.
Yeah, let's get the ranchers on here. I think this is a interesting thing because we had an opportunity to meet. Now, these young guys right here, Corbin's coming on, and so Cassidy and Corbin, they're the folks that really took this project on, and come on up here because the Jagger family out of McClave, Colorado. You have Wiley down here, close to Wiley, though, right?
Yeah, right in between.
Right in between. Now, you have a background in agriculture. You actually teach agriculture, don't you?
I do, yeah. I've been an ag teacher for 20 years. Taught 14 years up where Mr. Euland's at, there at Eads, and then we moved down towards the McClave Way.
Yeah, Lance Jagger, McClave Way. So agriculture, and you guys took on this project. Welcome right here. Thank you, guys.
You.
I know you look a little older, man. Different shirt, too.
Yeah.
Very sharp. Where do we begin with these guys? I always find it fascinating how do you keep them motivated to want to continue on doing this?
Oh, can I say that on radio?
Sure.
No, they've both been raised around it their entire life. They know what the expectations are. They know to get up early before school and get the chores done. And they know that after basketball practice, whatever it is in the evening, there's more chores to do. They know that the first of the year, here comes babies, time to kid outdoors. And they just know. I mean, they've been raised around it. They know what to do.
Yeah, you got to put down the PlayStation.
We don't have one of those.
You don't have one of those.
We don't have one of those.
Oh, man, fantastic.
Good parenting.
That is good parenting. Guys, what do you think? First blush, first of all, with the animals, how was it raising them?
Hard sometimes, but weighing them, we didn't like that. But at the end, it's good to see how they came along.
Yeah, no doubt. Did you mix up the feed at any point in time?
No.
No, it stayed mostly the same.
Stayed the exact same.
Yeah, but we changed how much we were feeding them. They wouldn't clean up all their feed, so we would give them a little bit less so that they would clean it all up.
And there was times whenever they cleaned up all their feed and you give them a little more, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Try to push them along.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What feed did they like to eat the most?
They tended to eat the pelleted feed more, so that would be the sun meal feed, because goats sometimes are really picky, so the soy goats would pick through and eat the corn or eat the pellets, and then they would leave the barley or other stuff in there that they wouldn't want to eat. And if it's in a pellet, then they don't get the choice. They have to eat it all. So I think they tended to eat the pelleted feed more.
I would agree. And it was interesting, we were talking to Zach earlier. Goats are browsers, right? And so they don't eat cans. We talked about that. But, they will eat some things that other animals won't go to first. So, like, you put them on grass, for example, they'll go eat, like, kochia weed first. Or if there's a tree and some low-hanging leaves, they'll eat those first, right? But one thing I noticed, and I think you guys probably noticed too, it's always greener on the other side. So we have these two sets of goats side by side technically, and the feeders are on opposite sides of the pen. But they would put the feed in there, and the ones that are on the soy-based feed would want some of the sunmeal feed, and some of the ones on sunmeal feed would want some of the soy feed. It's always greener on the other side. It always tastes better over there, right?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Apply that to life, right?
Right, exactly.
I want what they're having over there, and they want what you're having.
Yep.
Interesting thing. Rossi, a lot of times sitting down with, this is the salt of Colorado right here, to have an opportunity to talk to agriculture and where the food comes from. For me, this tastes better just because of the stories, first of all. I know where it's coming from. But to sit down and have an opportunity, talk show host, that's your brain. What first comes to your mind?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is how many people in America probably think that their food comes from the supermarket.
Sure.
Right?
Already packaged.
Already packaged. And they don't think at all before that, and they don't think of all the steps that go into it. And I think it's really interesting that you also teach agriculture because, and again, going back to like my business side,
Sure.
right? I mean, you're not just learning and teaching about what does a particular animal eat or what's their life cycle, but there's a whole business here. I mean, it's your business. So what I find really interesting, and especially like thinking about goat, we were talking about this earlier, how so many goats are eaten around the world, but not very many in America. Do you think that it's a kind of thing where like even a change in feed that changes how goats taste could change whether more Americans are willing to eat it, or do you think that's just such a massive hill to climb that is that too ambitious?
Great question.
We were talking earlier, I think to Ruby actually about this. I think beef is what's for dinner, right? And we all know that slogan. We know tons of slogans. We can rattle them off right away. And I think as goat producers, we've got to get on that kind of bandwagon. They have the beef checkoff, they have the pork checkoff, they have all those kind of things. Goats, it's what's for lunch. I mean, we have to figure this out, right? Yeah. I mean,
you got your goat?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Not
something.
Too bad. I'll
something
go ahead
to get it going.
Get that on.
Trademark that one.
Check it off your list, right?
Mark that one, Jay.
But no, not that we've ate goat the whole time we raised it either. I mean, we started raising goats. Why? Cass, why we started raising goats?
Because I wanted to have a goat.
And do what with it?
And show it.
So that's a whole other industry, right? To be able to exhibit these livestock and see how you can compete against others. One thing that the chef was saying about firmness of fat, and I'm going to let Cass explain this too, because we were talking about this a little bit ago. It does matter in the show ring too. And so that's why we feed this feed. Now we get to taste it, and then we know it tastes better, right? I mean, you could taste it. You guys had to have those cold pieces. I'm sorry. But we know it tastes better. So what's the deal with that, Cass?
So whenever you're showing an animal, there's ways that you can tell how their fat or their finish is going to be even before you butcher the animal. So whenever a judge is feeling an animal to see how much finish it has, he feels over his rack or where his loin would be. And so freshness is what we call
firmness.
Yeah, firmness. So we want that rack to feel firm so that we can have the freshest meat that we can produce.
So up top, it's interesting. Every time anybody wants to see how I'm feeling these days, they grab my gut. Right. You don't go underneath there? Oh, that's a good one right there. No? It's up top to feel that. I mean, I love projects like this. I think it shows so much, and I also think it brings us all closer together when you have the feed to the farm, to the chef. The butchery today, it was so educational, and we learned so much. And I think just the side-by-side taste test was really cool. But I'd like to see the point that you made, Ross, about, well, how do we make this mainstream? I mean, truly, I mean, throughout the world, are we just missing out as a taste, or we're prima donnas when it comes to our palates here in the United States? And when Rick laid on me, man, one of every 10 goats in Colorado that's raised in Colorado stays in Colorado for consumption. Why?
Did that sound high or low to you?
That sounded amazing. I would think that at least half of those goats should stay here because that's local food, the local products that folks have. Chef Justin Brunson and with River Bear American Meats. It's cool to be able to figure out how to navigate through that pipeline from the beginning to the end consumer. And a lot of times it's connecting those dots. Connecting the dots is a big thing in this industry, but I want the freshest, best food with a story, knowing I'm helping out a family like this. I mean, I could eat all day long knowing that, I'm putting shoes on her feet rather than another boat in a corporate yard somewhere with with food that has no identity at all. So,
I mean, at the risk of sounding like I'm being paid to advertise or something, I've never met you, and the goat that I ate earlier when it was still hot, that was fed on the Colorado Mills feed, was the first time I ever ate goat that I thought everybody would like this, right? If you've eaten lots of venison and this and that, you might like any of these. But if you've grown up just kind of eating beef and pork and you don't kind of have that sensibility for game meats, then the goat fed on the sunflower diet was the only goat I've ever tasted anywhere that I thought anybody would eat that.
Just salt. That's
just
all
salt.
We had just salt, which was fantastic. Guys, in closing, Lance.
We just really appreciate the opportunity. We worked with Rick and Colorado Mills for years. The opportunity for us to feed out some animals that were consumed by many different individuals a day and talk about goat is great for us, great for our business, and great for my kids' future. So thank you.
Yeah, the best of McClave right here standing in front of us. Thanks for making the trip, truly.
Thank you.
That means so much to us. I think in part we want to get Rick back on here and Zach from Colorado Mills, and we kind of want to wrap this up with you too, Justin, if you don't mind. We'll get these guys back on, and Ross, I know you have to take off out of here. Thank you, sir.
Thanks so much for
cool.
having me.
And I wanted to bring Ross Kaminsky because, again, a guy that will speak his mind no matter what. You came in here with, no agenda at all, and you just kind of wanted to see. So I'm glad this piqued your interest, and maybe, just maybe, some of these types of stories could make it to the morning show on KHOW.
It definitely will, and thanks for having me.
Yeah,
it was really great.
There
and delicious.
Ross Kaminsky. We'll continue and do a wrap-up. Zach, you're probably chomping at the bit because we've done this whole deal. And I know we had these in front of us, and that probably wasn't the best thing to do with the temperature that it was. But I think the consensus at the end of the day, as we were in the kitchen here, community, the taste of this, the local products, all of these things, it's an equation for success. And I just wanted to bring you back on to wrap it up.
Well, that's where, Colorado Mills is. A lot of people know us as an oil company because I'm out running around and talking to chefs and snack food companies. But this is 2/3 of what we do. There's 600 ranches that are supported by this, 120 farms, and countless culinarians. I don't even know how many culinarians are out there. So it's really bringing it full circle, tying what we're doing in southeast Colorado and the economy down there to the Front Range and beyond, and getting, we're doing these taste tests, and we did this with the lambs back in January, almost a year ago, because as we're getting out there and talking to more people, we need more data. We need, testimonials and just information.
We doing pork next year?
Yeah, what's next?
Let's do pork.
Let's do something. Let's talk.
I think, after just tasting what just happened, proof's in the pudding, 100%. Like we all agreed that the 100% sunflower-fed animal was the best animal. And I wasn't here for the lamb thing last year. I wish I was. But I would love to see it, in pork because I love pork.
Well, I know, and people love the taste of pork, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not trying to sway anybody one way or another with pork, so I wonder what the outcome
Well, it's a less of a gamey animal, too. So it's like, to me, it's something I'm just more knowledgeable about. I mean, I've probably eaten goat 100 times. I mean, I've eaten pork 5,000 times at least. Grew up in Iowa, all right? But I own a pork restaurant. So to me, it would be fun to do this again next year with a couple of, get a couple Berks and feed them the two rations, or maybe just this one versus this one, and see what we could do next year with that.
Yeah, Cash, you ever wanted a pig? Where is she?
Yeah, you want a pig?
You want a pig?
You want a pig?
Let's get some pigs,
You want stuff rooting up your yard?
That's right.
Well, that's where we're at. Let's have a conversation, because of what everything is going on. And it's from the producer. Let's start with it's the grower, it's the producer, the middleman here making products, down to what the chef wants. What do you want on your menu? What do you want your people that are coming to your restaurant, what do you want them to say? So let's have a conversation as a group.
Well, it'd be a lifetime dream if you could raise me on that, and then people could just enjoy me at a party someday. And see if that
nobody's going to enjoy you at a party.
You are what you eat.
I'm not the best
what your food eats.
Yeah, you
Acquired
are
taste.
what you eat. And that's something that we'd love to get across to you is truly, when it comes to these types of things, this experiment was just that. We're experimenting, and we believe that this is a really great product. I like this performance feed as well. I think that's a cool feed.
Yeah.
Well, I think what we found there, because this is the first time I've ever eaten goat. First time.
Really?
First time ever.
Rick.
And had a kind of preconception of what I might be running into, and even the grain fed goat had a flavor that wasn't objectionable to me.
No.
But the difference to me was the tenderness, almost down the line. This one wasn't as tender. That was a little more tender, and that was the most tender. And I think we come back to, once again, the monounsaturated fats. And that's interesting when you say swine, because one of the things the swine industry's done in the last 20 years is gotten leaner and leaner.
Yeah,
and leaner.
they're going the other way now, though.
Yeah,
We're all
back
they
off.
figured it out. They turned pigs into chickens.
Yeah.
And now they're like, the other white meat. That's not what we want. So they're going the other way with it and raising those heritage breed pigs that are fattier now.
And that would be interesting to see what monounsaturated sun meal or monounsaturated fat, just oil added to a swine diet would do to the tenderness of the meat internally.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If you have more interest in this, you want to learn more, the website?
www.comills.com. So like Colorado Mills, but comills.com.
comills.com. And a lot of ag folks watch what the content that we produce. And Jane Levine, I think, that we met from Salida, Colorado, and a rabbit farm that she has. She was onto this last year and also a buyer of the Colorado Mills feed. And folks, if you have any interest in this at all or you want to ask questions, Zach is always happy to get that information to you. So just look that up. And do you have an email address that folks can get hold of you?
Zach, Z-A-C, at comills.com.
Cool. Thanks. Justin, your time. It's valuable. Thanks
Awesome,
for being
man. Thanks
here
for having us today. We had a great time. It was very educational, and the whole thing was just awesome. Thank you.
We're glad you're part of it. Thank you.
Some of the best meat products around, River Bear American Meats. You can look him up online as well, riverbearamericanmeats.com.
Yep.
Easy.
Come find us. Come find our products. Colorado's only locally made bacon.
Is that true?
Yeah, the only one made in Colorado.
I mean, the bacon's delicious for sure. Rick, as always, what a pleasure. Thanks for bringing everybody here.
It's great. And one of the things I do want to point out, we want to support our youth in 4-H and FFA, but a lot of things that I think we need to think about is in any industry include the youth in what you do. If somebody's excited about what you do. We always complain about these kids are stuck in their phones. Well, maybe you can be the reason they can look up. So
they're not just people that do things you don't want to do? That's what my function was as a kid, I don't want to do that. You go do that, Greg. Truly, you guys, thank you, Cass.
Yeah, great job, guys.
Appreciate it. And we'll see more of them, and we'll be back at Road Trip 2020. We'll be swinging through. Get ready. Get that dog cleaned up, though, would you? Give him a bath. All right, we'll be back. Thanks, Jay Parker, for putting this together. Kenny and George, everybody here involved. What a great day from Studio Kitchen, Colorado. We'll see you down the road.